November 11th, 1990, 10:47 a.m. Levi Salaman is in the front yard of his hobby farm outside of Three Oaks, Michigan, practicing lumbermancy. Thwack goes the axe as it bites through the seasoned birch. Levi approaches the piece flung to the east, the piece principally concerned with details of the future, and regards the grain of the wood. Levi favors lumbermancy for many reasons. For one, wood always needed to be corded. On his little farm, he had a wood-burning stove, and he cooks over wood fires whenever possible. He also stacks up the extra wood next to his farm stand and sells it to those passing through the area, usually from Chicago, who are camping and need wood for campfires. Locals never buy his wood. They chop their own. Besides these practicalities, Levi finds that the process of chopping wood, picking the next piece and the right tool to break it, raising his axe or maul and bringing it down in the coup de grace, and stacking the newly cut down pieces helps to put him in what Peter J. Carroll describes as gnosis, the thoughtless, empty state where the chaos magician loses the artificial separation between themselves and the universe and can manifest. And today, Levi is manifesting the future. Or at least he's trying to. As he looks at the split log in his hand, he sees that the familiar loops and whirls that detail the intricacies of coming events suddenly stop roughly an eighth of the way down the log, replaced by smooth blonde wood as blank as a sheet of paper. He selects another log, a thick piece of oak, and aligns his starburst in the middle of its growth rings. He brings his hammer crashing down on it, but there is no satisfying crack as the wood splits, only the sound of the starburst popping out of the log and flying across the yard. Levi runs to his favorite cardigan, now more patches than cable knit wool, hanging on the back of his patio chair, and shoves his hand into the deep pocket to pull out 3 CTA-L tokens, each with the glyph of an eye scratched into the back to denote tails. He tosses them into a silver collection plate he keeps for scrying, and all 3 of the tokens stand on their edge. He collects them and casts them again, and again against all odds, all 3 stand straight up, refusing to give any information about the future. Levi reaches into the other pocket of his cardigan and pulls out a deck of playing cards from the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee. He shuffles the cards quickly and flips over the top card to reveal the rules of bridge. The next card he flips shows the rules of cribbage, then Go Fish, then Old Maid. He gives up, knowing that the cards will continue on in that fashion for as long as he is willing to flip them. Why, suddenly, is the future making itself oblique? He thinks of that piece of wood, how it showed him a few lines before going blank. That couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 minutes ago. He comes back to the wood pile and picks up a new log of birch, about as wide around as his calf, and focuses just on the next 15 minutes. Up and then down, the axe does its work and bisects the log neatly. Levi picks up the eastward piece and sees clear as day a sigil of a man in a long black coat with his head replaced by the alchemist's palm, the silhouette of a hand with 2 thumbs and an eye embedded in the palm. Levi returns to the coins and casts them, again thinking only of the next 15 minutes. Now the coins cooperate and land heads or tails. As he throws his coins, he draws the corresponding lines in the sand. Broken, unbroken, broken, unbroken, unbroken, and finally, broken. He barely has to glance at his lookup chart to confirm what he already knows. Hexagram 47. He opens his worn Tao Te Ching to the correct passage and reads, "There is no water in the lake. One is oppressed while at meat and drink. The man with the scarlet shoes is coming. Scarlet shoes? No, that should read scarlet breeches. He looks again and the word refuses to change. The man with the scarlet shoes. He reads on. A man permits himself to be oppressed by stone and leans on thorns and thistles. He enters his house and does not see his wife. Misfortune. His nose and feet are cut off. Oppression at the hands of the man with the scarlet shoes. Scarlet shoes again, that's not right. He takes his deck of cards, focused again on just the next 15 minutes. He flips the top card, the Jack of Spades, flips again, the Jack of Hearts, then Jack of Diamonds, the Jack of Clubs. He flips again, and again the Jack of Spades. He looks at the back of the card, and this deck is not one he recognizes. It looks like it came from the Cadillac Hotel in Detroit, Michigan. He flips again and sees only jacks from decks from hotels and tourist traps from around the country and the world. Finally, Levy sits down in absolute despair and pours himself a bit of Slipovitz from his flask. There is no other way to interpret these signs. He'll be back in the next 15 minutes, and after that, there is no future to predict. How could this be happening? He knew that he had done everything right in Budapest. Could it have something to do with that bread? No time for that. For now, he needed to clear his mind. Levy knew there was work to do. The alchemist prince, the man in the red shoes, his old friend Jack is coming back, and he's taking the future with him.